to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. I'm attempting to do a live show, which would technically be my second. First one was a dress rehearsal. It is, what time is it right now? 7:32 p.m. Central Time, my time. So, if nobody else is live right now, we should have some people jump in. Please subscribe, like, and share if you have not. If this is the first time you watch my channel or the 15th or whatnot, and you haven't subscribed, please do. Every subscriber counts. My first goal is to get to 1,000. I would like to get to 1,000 by week 1 in September. What's up, Eric Wallace? Thanks for jumping in, my brother. I'm trying to get at least 10 people in here. I get 10 people in here, Eric, and I think we can have a nice, small live show. The first one I did was a dress rehearsal. I've got some topics to hit about on the draft right now. I think that'll be entertaining. So we will check that out. So, Eric, just be patient, my man. Just give it like 10 minutes. If you're watching this video later after it's uploaded, you might want to fast forward to the 5 or 10 minute mark. That's probably when, the real talking will begin. My kids broke my tablet, so I have to use my wife's phone to look at all the chats. I got one so far. If there are a lot of chats that come on to this live stream that I'm doing here. I believe this draft, 2023, will be the most important draft that we've had in years. And I'll explain why here in a few minutes. So, Eric, chunk of do sign or something if you're cool and you can wait for about 10 minutes. I'm sure Matt Batten, Tommy G, and some other guys should jump in. It's only 7:34. It's 8:30 on the Eastern time zone. I'm Central. I think most people know that. Let me set my wife's settings for a screen not to go off every 5 seconds. I think it's annoying. But got some live stuff to talk about, that's for damn sure. And this channel, mark my words, in a few years will be one of the biggest out there. Probably will never catch a law. He's almost at 100,000, but it's going to be super big. Been covering this team for 30 years, played the game my whole life. Here we go. How long? Lock screen shortcut? No. How long to keep it on before it goes off? That's what I'm trying to do. Just 1 second, guys. I can put my attention back on the screen. My wife's got this rickety cricket phone. Always. Very, very annoying. Okay. There we go. Got that done. All right. So it'll stay on. All right, Eric. I appreciate your patience. Question for you, since you're here, is what position, personally, Eric, do you want to take in the first round? At pick 26, say we don't trade up, we stay pat at 26. Stay pat at 26. Well, let me turn it down. What position you want to draft? In the first round. Because this draft is deep at running back, defensive tackle, and tight end. This draft is not deep at interior offensive linemen. In fact, it's pretty, in recent years, it's pretty dry for good interior offensive linemen in this draft. We've got the top 10 interior linemen, top 10 defensive tackles, top 10 running backs. Sugar Daddy Williams, my man, I figured you would finally catch on to a live show. Yeah. This whole time I thought I had to get to 1,000 subscribers to get live. Turns out it's not the case. You got to get to a certain point, but not 1,000. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, then you can officially monetize your channel. And I want to reach that by September, by week 1 of this season. Because when I do that and can start making a little coin off the time I put into this, I buy a mic, start buying studio equipment, my own personal laptop just for this channel or desktop, and really get it professional looking like Law has it. And, Mark Holmes has his deal. Mike Fisher just it's just him and his computer. He don't need none of them fancy bells and whistles because he's at the store every day personally. Sugar Daddy, I'm with you. My top 2 positions in the first round would be offensive guard or running back. And there's only one running back I would take in the first round. But like they said, this season, this is one of the weaker interior offensive lineman drafts in recent history. I got the top 10 defensive tackles, running backs, and oh, geez, I'll get here in a second. Eric, well, for Dallas, I would think if Bijan's do it, if Bijan's available, do it. Actually, funny thing is me personally, I'm a Seahawks guy, but I've met great people here. Very interesting. So you're a Seahawks fan first, Eric, is that correct? I would have never guessed that because you were like in every Cowboys YouTube show. Law, Mark Holmes, Chat Sports, Tom Downey, Mike Fisher. Well, if you're a Seahawks fan, I bet you were pleasantly happy with last season. You made the playoffs. You got rid of Russell Wilson, who can't cook no more, for what, 2 first-round picks? So you got 2 firsts this draft and next draft. You still got DK Metcalf as your dog receiver, and you can really build the next 2 years around Geno Smith with 2 firsts, especially with that offensive line. If you protect Geno Smith and he's got time to throw the ball and you give him another weapon, I think he can do very well. He got paid, and deservingly so. Everybody thought Seattle would tank last year, let alone win the division. And they did. They won the division. In the first round, they had San Fran tied at 17. They were giving them a ball game, but San Fran just ran away with it in the second half. I'd like to get at least 10 people in here. I know Cowboy fanatics. Well, Eric, you were shocked when y'all traded Russell. I personally wasn't. Because, like, maybe for a year or two, he was what you would, call a top-notch passer. And other than that, he really wasn't. He was living off his 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl win. And all he had to do was manage the game to win the first one. The defense held Peyton Manning and the best offense in NFL history to 8 points. So all Russell Wilson had to do was game manage. And in the second Super Bowl, how Pete Carroll didn't say, give the ball to Marshawn up the middle and end this damn thing. Why they put it in his hands to throw the ball to Malcolm Butler. That was the worst coaching decision in Super Bowl history. Hell, Pete Carroll should have been fired. Fired and then hired again a week later. Just to show how pissed the owner was for making that call. And that would have been back-to-back Super Bowls. Had them at the 1-yard line. You got beast mode. And you want to be cute and throw the ball. I couldn't believe that. So, if Bijan is there at pick 26, that's the only running back I would take in round one is Bijan Robinson. And you know what's really trippy? I got this written down somewhere. Now, they say that Bijan is a LaDainian Tomlinson type football player, right? It's a great comparison. But if you compare Bijan to Elliott when he was coming out of Ohio State, their measurables in 40 time are identical, except Bijan has a faster 40 time by a tenth of a second. I just got to look it up real quick. Check this out. This will blow your mind if you have not looked this up yet. Bijan and Zeke Elliott coming out of the draft. Exact same height, exact same weight, exact same 40 time, except, like I said, Bijan Robinson, a tenth of a second faster. So Bijan, so that's why I think we can get 3 years of number one running back on a cheap, on the cheap. And that's when Dak was at his best, when he had Zeke in 2016 to 2018. That's when Dak was at his best and played his cleanest football. So Bijan is 6 foot, right? 220 pounds. And his 40 time, he ran a 4.46, right? Now, check this out. This is just trippy, man. Ezekiel Elliott was clocked at 4.47 coming out of college. And, he was a 4th overall pick, as we know. And he is 6 foot. And 226. So, the reason why I want to get Bijan so bad, I would even trade up to get him, is because if he can give us 3 years of what Zeke gave us in Zeke's first 3 years, that would push the offense over the top, especially with a scat back of Pollard's skill behind him. Coming out of Texas this year, Bijan Robinson, 6 foot, 220 pounds. His 40 time is 4.46. 2016, when Zeke was coming out of the draft, 6 foot, 226, ran a 4.47 40. Identical height, identical weight, identical 40 times. It's almost like getting the same running back, but you're getting young Zeke again. And you probably don't have to trade up in the top 5 to get him, because he ain't going to be picked in the top 5. Eric Wallace says, let me move these rings out of the way. Kind of just getting in the way of things. This is a Christmas present for my wife. I cherish him. Eric says, that's exactly a Coles that play flat out stunk. That's exactly it. That play flat out stunk. We had it, and then Pete does that manure, and then the fighting after all of that makes it worse. It looks like at least the number 1 pick next year is still Denver controlling it. We had an early pick last year as well. We play y'all this year, Eric. We got the NFC West on our schedule. We're not too worried about the Rams. As you saw, we beat them by 2 scores with Cooper Rush. We're not too worried about Arizona. And we're not too worried about... Actually, San Fran. San Fran will be a tough game. But with y'all having 2 picks in the first round, and if y'all make a few moves, I think y'all can give them a run for the division. Now, top 10 running backs by PFF. First is Bijan Robinson, of course. Projected to go in the first round. Grade of a 95.2. He's an offensive focal point back. That's what they say. Number 2 is Blake Corum out of Michigan. Grade of a 95.9. He's an early day 2 pick, they say. So he's an early second round pick. Projectable. He's a Bowling Ball type running back. Third, who Charlie White says will be the guy that's picked in the first round. Zach Charbonnet, something like that, out of UCLA. 91.5 grade. He's what they call a bell cow back. And number 4, everybody's familiar with Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. Grade of 80.2, early day 2 pick. Lightning ringer. That's what they kind of label him as. So, besides Bijan, the next 3 are day 2 picks, early day 2 picks, they say. The 5th ranked running back in this draft, Sean Tucker out of Syracuse, 77.6 grade. He's a day 2 projected pick, north-south runner. Number 6, Tank Bisbee, Auburn, 82.5 grade, a day 2 pick, jump cut king. That's what they label him as. Eric Wallace, I can say this, I will be happy either way. I love the Hawks, and I love the family atmosphere along with the Cowboys pages. So you wouldn't be mad if we won the chip this year and y'all didn't. So basically, Eric, you're saying Seattle's your number 1 team, and the Cowboys are like number 1B or your number 2 team, right? That's cool. I can dig that, because when Peyton Manning was playing, Cowboys were my number 1 team, and if they wasn't doing good, then I would root for Peyton Manning, because I just love the quarterback. You know, he's my favorite quarterback of all time, besides our guys, of course. 7th ranked running back in the draft, and it's deep. This draft is deep with running backs and defensive tackles. 7th ranked running back, Devon Chain out of A&M, 82.3 grade. A late day 2 pick, a late second round pick they're projecting. Pure speed. Kids got burners. Number 8, Kendre Miller out of TCU, 85.4 grade. He's projected to be a late day 2 pick, a late second round pick, all-purpose back. 9, Keaton Mitchell at ECU, 87.5 grade, a late second round pick. They call him space. Basically, put the guy in space. And number 10 is Roschon Johnson out of Texas. So both of Texas backs have guys coming out for the draft. 81.6 grade. He's predicted to be an early day 3 pick, and he's a power back. The only power back in the top 10 backs in this draft. And he's projected to be a day 3 pick. That's round 4 and up. So actually, I got that wrong. The late day 2 projections could be 3rd round picks. So, you know, Tank Bigsby, everybody except Bijan could fall into the 3rd round. That could happen. But Roschon Johnson, PFF ranks him number 10 out of, coming out of college in the running back section of the draft. And he is the power back. If we do not have plans to re-sign Zeke after June 1st, we want that power back. If we can get him in the, say, 4th or 5th round, yeah. Yeah. Stilts. There's two great backs in this draft. The others are just dudes. Welcome, Stilts. Thanks for joining my second live stream. My first few live streams won't attract a lot of attention until people know I'm starting to do live shows. Who are your? I mean, besides, I'm assuming you thinking B. John is one of them. Besides B. John, who is the other great back in this draft, in your opinion? Now, when it comes to the interior linemen, it's one of the weaker interior lineman drafts in recent history. They got Osiris Torrance, ring number 1. He plays right guard for Florida. His grade's at 88. He's projected to go in the first or second round. Number 2, John Michael Smits out of Minnesota. He's a 6-year senior. So he's not young. He's not like 21-year-old Tyler Smith. Got a 92.3 grade, projected to go day 2. So he could be a second or third round pick. I highly doubt it though, being that interior linemen are scarce in this draft. Number 3, the guy I want, Stilts Gibbs out of Alabama. So yeah, Bijan and Gibbs are the real deal. Bijan's backup, the power back, I'm pretty interested in if we don't get Bijan. Number 3, Steve Avila out of TCU. True left guard. His grade is a 71, and he's projected to be a day 2 pick. If we could get him in the second round, man, that would be beautiful, because I think right now, coming out of college, with a full off season, could be as good or better than Connor McGovern and Connor Williams. I truly believe that. Number 4, Luke Willier, I can hardly read my writing sometimes, out of The Ohio State University. 82.4 grade, projected late day 2 pick, so that's about round 3. Number 5, Joe Tipperman out of Wisconsin. 78 grade, late day 2 pick. Number 6, Andrew Voorhees, brother of Jason Voorhees. So must mean that he's a killer. And you want a killer on your line, right? Now, he's another 6-year senior. So he'd be like an old rookie. Grade of 81.9, early day 3 pick. 7 is Oli Olawatumi out of Michigan, another 6-year senior. Grade of an 80, early day 3 pick. Jarrett Patterson, number 8 out of Notre Dame. 70.5 grade he gave him, early day 3 pick. And then Braden Daniels out of Utah, day 3, and Antonio Mafia at UCLA, day 3. So the interior linemen are not really that deep in the draft. The top 3, I think, are day 1 starters. Now, anybody on the list could surprise and be a starter day 1. Hell, if one of these guards get drafted that's not on this list, in the 6th round, could turn out and be a surprise steal. You never know. Now, defensive tackle, where we have holes and need help at. Of course, you got Jalen Carter, ranked number 1 overall, projected to go top 5. Doesn't even say first round, it says top 5. 92.7 grade. He's basically a complete defensive tackle. That's how they describe him. But with the trouble that he's facing, he could fall. I don't see him falling far, though. Players with skill that high, unless they murdered somebody or have like a serious case, if they just have minor trouble off the field, they don't fall that far, or unless they're injured. And then the second ranked defensive tackle by PFF in this draft is Brian Brees out of Clemson. He's predicted to be a first-round pick. Number 3, Siaki Ika out of Baylor, who we really like. Projected to be a first, second-round pick. if we could pick him up in the second, he'd be a steal also, if he's around. If Steve Avila is not around, and he is, you might go with him. I mean, the guy's like 360 almost. Could really, really help with that run stopping defense paired up with Hankins. Number 4, you got Kalijah Consi out of Pittsburgh. They say he's an early day 2 pick. I think he's a guy that's pretty undersized, 280 pounds, very short arm length. Has a lot of comparisons to, what was that? Hey, what's up, Jack Wez? What's up, big dog? Kalijah Consi. Kalijah. You know what I'm talking about. What I just said. He has a lot of similarities to that defensive tackle for Minnesota, John Randall. John Randall was undersized, but was just a monster at collapse in the pocket. Number 5, you got Mazi Smith out of Michigan. They have him as a day 2 pick. The 6th ranked defensive tackle out of Bowling Green, Carl Brooks. 93.4 rating, pretty high. Day 2 pick. Number 7, Mauro Ajomo out of Texas. Day 2 pick. Number 8, Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. Day 2 pick. Number 9, Keandre Coburn out of Texas. A late day 2 pick. So most likely 3rd round. And number 10, Jerzon. Last name starts with the N. Out of Illinois. Late day 2 pick. They label him as an agile disruptor. 91 grade from PFF. All 10 of those defensive tackles I just named are probably plug-and-play day 1 starters, or at least big-time rotational pieces in year 1. And only one of them, actually only 2 of them, are projected to last past the 2nd round. That's how deep that defensive line draft is. Now, the reason why I say I believe this draft is the most important that we've had in recent history is if we hit on this draft, if we really hit, and I mean hit, we could plug the rest of the holes that we have. And then after the draft, for depth purposes, re-sign Elliott to a 1-year vet minimum deal because I know he wants a ring. Like I said, he has made the 2nd most money as a running back in NFL history. Only one other guy's made more money than him at the running back position. So he's made his money. I think after June 1st, even after the draft, we draft a running back. He'll sign a 1-year vet minimum deal to be running back number 3. If we have a triple head of monster at running back, we can keep them all fresh throughout the season. So in January, you don't have any of them worn down. The perfect play out in the first 3 rounds, which this would be stretching it, as you know, but it could be possible. Also, even if we have to trade up to do this and make this happen, I do it. Round 1, somebody takes Bijan instead of Bijan's. Somebody takes another running back, Jameer Gibbs, or like Charlie Weiss thinks Zach Charbonnet. Say someone takes him early in the first, and Bijan slides to us at 26. If we can land Bijan in round 1, holy shit. That's all I can say about that. And then in round 2, because I know a lot of offensive tackles are going to be taken in the first round, and there's a lot of good ones. unlike interior linemen, there's a lot of good tackles in this draft. If Steve Avila is there in round 2, and just say we got to trade up to get him a few spots, and we get him in round 2, holy cow, again, because we found our future left guard. Offensive line is practically rebuilt. And then in round 3, say for some odd reason, Siaki Ika out of Baylor slides to round 3, and we're able to get him. Those would be the perfect first 3 guys to get. Or even if we had to trade up in the second. Trade up in the second to get our offensive lineman and defensive tackle. It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it if you had to give a second up next year and your third this year and fifth, say third and fifth this year and second next year to move up early in the second round to get Avila or Osika. And then do what you gotta do to get the other one. If we can go get those 3 guys in the first 3 picks, that would essentially shore up the running back position, shore up the offensive line, and shore up the defensive tackle position. The 3 glaring holes that we have. Tight end, we could draft one in the 4th round, 6th round. Our tight end is going to be good. If we feel we need another one, we could draft one like we did last year. I think Jake Ferguson is going to ball out in year 2. And Peyton Hendershot, a UDFA, is going to show what he's made of also. Sean McEwen's a solid 3rd, but we'll probably draft our 3rd tight end in the draft. But if this draft goes just perfectly, and even if we don't get these names that I'm naming specifically, if we get the type of play that we think a Steve Avila can give us, or a Siaki Ika, or a Bijan Robinson, those will plug holes in the draft. And that 10.9 that we're saving for Zeke on his cut, that money will basically pay for the draft class. And then after the draft, like I said, sign a few vets on 1-year vet minimum deals for depth. I want Zeke back. I want him back on a 1-year vet minimum deal. He's still got a lot to give. And if we make that run this year and hold up that trophy, he deserves to be on that stage with his BFF Dak and Jerry and everybody else. Because he is a Cowboy as true to heart as any Cowboy has been. And he has sacrificed his body for this team. And probably sign, maybe a Linville Joseph to a 1-year vet man to, help solidify the DT position and give depth to it. Safety, we're good. Corner, we're good. Yeah. This year is the year to make the run. And Terrence Steele, if he were to be moved to swing tackle, which he's not, it would be foolish, because we saw in 2021 when he was playing great at right tackle and he gave the job back to Collins after his suspension. And Ty Smith went down and they said, "Hey, Steele, man, you look great at right tackle. Be our swing and go play, that left spot." He was horrible at the left spot. Some players are just not meant to play on certain sides of the field. Terrence Steele is not a swing tackle. He does not play very good on the left side at all. He is a mauler at right tackle. you keep him at right tackle. Because if he's our swing tackle, our best starting five will not be out there. Plain fact. If you try him at left guard, again, he's on the left side. It doesn't add up. Either sign Dalton Reisner, or you draft Steve Avila, or, a good left guard in the draft to plug that left guard spot. Because, like I said, we could start the season with Ty Smith and Tyler Smith at left tackle and left guard. But Ty will go down. It is inevitable. He cannot play a full season healthy. That's why I think he's a perfect swing tackle. And with his contract, the way it is now, his base salary is like $3 million, something like that. It's all incentive based. So you wouldn't be paying him $17 million to be a swing tackle. You'd be paying him swing tackle money. And if God forbid Tyler Smith goes down with a bad injury or Terrence Steele does again, then he can fill in. And that's about as good as depth as you can have at swing tackle. And then we got Chuma Adoga. That's pretty damn good interior depth. He can play left or right guard. And then for backup center, we got that one cat, Farniak, I think his name is. So, championship teams have great starting talent. They also have great depth. So, that's basically how you want to end the offseason. Finish solidifying the holes that you have for starters. And then add in the depth pieces, and we're ready to go. We can get defensive tackle, running back, and left guard in this draft. I'm talking about day one starters. They are there, right for the taking. Now, one of these running backs, I mean, even if it ain't Bijan, one of them that falls into the third round could possibly very well be a damn good back opposite Pollard. And that's why you bring Zeke back for a 1-year minimum deal after June 1st. So you got that veteran experience with Pollard, who's also a veteran. And then you got that rookie with fresh legs. So if Bijan's not there in round 1, you get your offensive guard or your defensive tackle. And then in round 2, you get the one that you didn't get, the tackle or the guard. And then in round 3 or round 4, you can get a good running back. Only if Bijan is not there in round 1. I know Jahmyr Gibbs is really good, but we don't need another scat back. Jahmyr Gibbs and Devon Achane at A&M, they're speed backs, just like Pollard, and we don't need 2 Pollards in the backfield. We need diversity, just like, Chubb and Hunt, Kamara and Ingram. Hell, Alvin Kamara was a 3rd-round draft pick. We can, in the 3rd round, pick up a good running back. So if Bijan's not there at pick 26, and Steve Avila is, or Siaki Ika is, you take one of those 2. Preferably Steve Avila, or if John Michael Smith is at pick 26, you take that man. Because I would bet my last dollar that he is a plug-and-play starter, Pro Bowler for the next 10 years. Offensive line is rebuilt. And then the 2nd round, the defensive tackles are so freaking good. Even if you don't get Siaki Ika, there's plenty to choose from that can make a difference in the middle of that line. And hopefully you hit somebody like a Jay Ratliff or David Irving. A David Irving with passion, or a Jay Ratliff. Jay Ratliff could collapse that pocket like none other, man. He was freaking awesome. And if David Irving just wanted to make money and had a brain, he'd be playing for us right now. How does a man with that much potential and a team wants him? I mean, America's team wants him really bad. All he's got to do is put together 2 really good seasons, and he gets the bag. Want to walk off because he wants to smoke weed. Where's David Irving now? Like I said, where's he now? What, is he selling insurance? Car salesman? Pure ignorance, just like Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph has the intangibles. He's got the speed, the build, the physicality, everything you want in a corner to be a great cornerback. But after he was drafted, his mind was in the booth wanting to be boss man fat, not Calvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph was second to boss man fat. That's why, like Jane Slater said verbatim, if he was half worried about his football career as he was his rap career, he might be something. Kelvin Joseph is done. His window is shut. He's like he's not in state prison. Trayvon Diggs, second round pick, focused on his craft. Yeah, he could have bought a studio and wanted to be a rapper, but no. He said, hey, I got a shot to be somebody. I'm a second round pick. It's a high pick. I'm on the biggest stage in America. If I make a name for myself, after year 3, I'm going to get paid. And he is. Kelvin Joseph is not. He's the opposite of what Bill Bates was. If the people that are watching now don't remember Bill Bates, he was a walk-on that made the Cowboys squad in the late 80s. Sorry for my cough. Bill Bates, defensive back, and special teamer. Small white boy was a walk-on. Played for Tom Landry, played for Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer, which means he went through 3 head coaches, and none of them cut him because they saw how much heart he had. He wasn't as fast as all the others. He wasn't as big as all the others or strong as all the others, but he had more heart than all the others. Similar to the movie Rudy, the guy that was on the practice squad and played 1 or 2, 3 plays for Notre Dame in the last game of the season. Kelvin Joseph is the polar opposite of Bill Bates. Bill Bates was a true football player, and he's got 3 rings to show for it. Walk on, small white guy, 5 foot nothing. Didn't have much speed, but played safety and played special teams, and was there with Landry, Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy Johnson was a hard ass guy. And if he gets to survive Jimmy Johnson's cut, he gets to survive anybody's cut. So I would like to see Kelvin Joseph released or traded for like a 2026 7th round pick. I mean, he's just dead weight. And just replace him by picking another corner in the draft. Hey, Rhonda. I appreciate you checking in. Yeah, Eric, I've got Tourette's, and it manifests itself sometimes like in a cough. Like that. It's not a true cough. It's just a form of Tourette's that I have. I'm just glad I don't have the kind that, you shout out obscenities. Tourette's comes in different forms, shapes, and sizes. So that's all that is, Eric. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I'm actually doing a lot better. Some of my videos were nothing but, me coughing after every sentence. But if I focus and concentrate, I can really control it. Now you know. But see many people on my second live show have at least popped in. We've got Eric Willis, Sugar Daddy, Stilts, Rhonda Lovely Sparks, and Jaquez. People ain't bad. 8 likes. So if there's 8 likes, there had to have been 8 people that jumped in. Just didn't have much to say. Rhonda, I appreciate you too. I appreciate your support and the way you look at things. You got a beautiful point of view. A lot of more people should have it. A lot of judgmental people out there. With truth. That's right. So I gotta make the kids dinner and get ready for bed. But come draft day, which is creeping up on us really, really soon, this is Will McClay's Picasso. If Will McClay can pull off the best draft day of his life, we can set ourselves up to not only be a super contender this year, but for years to come. because we got a lot of we got a lot of good rookies last year that were playing. Some of them starting, some of them rotational, and we got a lot of good ones the year before that and the year before that. This season, if he can really nail it, we will not only be a Super Bowl contender this year, but for years to come. Because we will be very, very young. Our team age average will be probably under 25. Oldest guy on the offensive line will be Zach Martin at 32. Other than that, you got Terrence Steele at 25. Everybody else is younger than that. That's beautiful. Tony Pollard's still young. With a rookie running back, you got young backs. Dak is turning 30. And it seems like quarterbacks really start to get better and hit their niche when they get into their 30s. Unless you're like a Peyton Manning who hits the ground running because you're just a natural gifted passer. Dak's a game manager. Maybe in the future he might be able to rise above that. But as of right now, he is the best game manager money can buy. If he has a great running game, paired with a great defense, he can make things happen, like winning 11 in a row his rookie season. We had a great running game with Elliott that kept the defense off the field and fresh. Now, with our defense, as good as it is, 3 times what it was in 2016, if we keep them off the field and fresh, we're going to maybe have a chance at breaking Baltimore's points record of allowing 165 in 2000. They were allowing 10 points a game, basically, the 2000 Ravens defense. Top 3 defenses this year will be San Fran, Dallas, and Philly. And possibly Detroit. I think Detroit is a sleeper in the NFC. Right now, it looks like a 3-team race still. The same 3 teams as last year. Dallas, San Fran, Philly. Detroit and the Giants are sleepers. Those are the 2 teams to watch out for in the NFC to be the guys to upset us. But we own the East. Dak has an incredible record against the East. And hopefully he continues that streak. Stilts. Our bell cow back this year, Stilts, is TBD. We don't know yet. All we know is that we got Pollard. He's not a bell cow. He's our versatile Marshall Faulk type back that can run the ball 15 times and catch it out of the backfield 5 to 7 times. I think Pollard can get 1,000 rushing and receiving. I think he's got that capability. Our bell cow back will most likely be the guy we draft. I think. And I really think when Elliott sees that nobody's going to pay him big money out there, he might as well just come home where he's loved. He'll be number 15 because he wants to wear his college number. So he'll be happy with that. I don't think he cares that Gilmore has 21. And I love Gilmore having number 21. I love it. Prime made 21 just so pretty. Whenever you see a cornerback wearing 21, you think he's got game. And that fits Gilmore perfectly to wear 21 on possibly the last team of his career. Probably the last season or 2 of his career. He still got juice in the tank left. Some people think that Gilmore is better than Diggs right now, which could possibly be true. We will see because Diggs will be targeted a lot more this year than last year. Last year, he wasn't targeted much at all because there was no cornerback 2. So they just threw it to cornerback 2. Kevin Joseph, Nashawn Wright, the musical chairs, we had a cornerback 2. So Diggs will be tested this year like he hasn't been since his rookie season. And we'll see if he is what, he's been looking like. I hope they extend him and Lamb soon and get that over with. And I hope they're kind of team-friendly deals. I hope they don't get too greedy. And Terrence Steele, give him a 5-year, $50 million contract. I guarantee you he signs it. It's $10 million a year. It's not bad for a right tackle who could possibly turn all-pro this year. He's got the makings to be the next Eric Williams. If y'all don't remember Eric Williams in the 90s at right tackle, he was nasty. He was fierce. He was our best run blocker besides Larry Allen. I mean, he was great at run blocking. He would create holes, and I mean, he would move people. Man, he was a monster. And then after he got in that bad car accident, he wasn't quite the same. But he didn't get the nickname Big E for nothing. Right now, I think Terrence Steele's as good as Mark Colombo was at right tackle for us in 07, 08. I think he can get as good as Eric Williams was. And if only we can find our next Larry Allen in this draft, which probably won't happen because there's not a lot of good guards. But man, could you imagine plugging Larry Allen in a left guard in this line? I got a football signed by him. I got it signed in 2001 training camp, Wichita Falls. I was 13, 14, and the man towered above me like Andre the Giant. Never seen a man as big as Larry Allen in my life. Real nice guy. Got my football signed it, But, man, and I saw him bench that 780 pounds. He broke the world record of bench pressing. The weights were so heavy that the bar was bending. And, man, he was something. But I'll settle for a Steve Avila or a John Michael Smits out of Minnesota who can play center or left guard. That's pretty good flex right there. Osiris Torrance being a right guard, that's the only thing that worries me. Can he switch to left and be as good as he was at right? So we'll see where the chips fall. Maybe this is a draft where you trade back into the first round and get 2 first-round picks. Like Philly has 2 first-round picks, right? The last time we did that was I can't remember the last time that we traded back into the first round. I don't think we were done that. Not since I've been watching this team. That's 30 years. But say we give Green Bay, who has pick 16, say we give them our first round next year, our second round and fourth round this year, and Kelvin Joseph. Say we offer Green Bay our first next year, our second and fourth this year, and KJ for your pick 16. Then we'd have pick 16 and pick 26. Then we could probably get Bijan for sure, because I think he'll slide to 16. And then, yeah, still, I can't believe Philly got the number 10 pick either. I don't know how they got 2 first rounds last year and this year. I didn't think Carson Wentz was worth that much as in trade value. I think when they traded him to the Colts, it was if he played over 70% or 75% of the snaps, it would turn into a first-round pick, and he did. But I didn't think Carson Wentz was first-round trade material at all. So, yeah, Philly's got 2 first-round picks this year. That's why they're still going to be very, very, very relevant and still very damn good, because they can replenish what they've lost in the offseason, especially having Jordan Davis to step into Hargrave's shoes. We'll see if he can do it or not, and see what Nakobe Dean has to offer. Now, they say Nakobe Dean, who was supposed to be the biggest steal of the draft in the 3rd round, they didn't trust him to be on the field last year. And there were plenty of times he could have played, but they didn't play him. Why? He was healthy mid-season. They thought Nakobe Dean and Damone Clark were not going to play their rookie seasons. They both were healthy at the midpoint. Damone Clark played. We put him out there, and he played well. And they were all about Nakobe Dean, man. Georgia, great defense. Fell to the 3rd round because he's injured. What a steal. Biggest steal of the draft. I said Damone Clark was a bigger steal than Nakobe Dean in the 5th round because he wore, number 18 at LSU, and that's a number they don't give out just to anybody. He had less to work with, and he did more. his stats are better all the way around, and he didn't have 4 NFL defensive linemen in front of him, 2 NFL linebackers on each side of him. The only first round defensive player Damone Clark played with was Daryl Stingley at cornerback, who Houston took in third overall pick. So Damone Clark showed he could play last year, and having a full off season of actually training and getting in the scheme of things, I think he's gonna be a monster. This is my second live show, so I apologize not looking at the chats. I need to look at the chats and address them. We'll see if N'Kobe Dean is what they say they think he is this year. They didn't trust him playing last year. It makes me wonder. Compensation picks. He was drafted first round on his second contract. Compensation picks. He was drafted first round and on his second contract. Who you talking about, Sugar Daddy? He was drafted first round on his second contract. You talking about the Carson Wentz trade? How Philly got 2 first? I'm just saying it's not a bad idea, and I wouldn't be surprised. Do not be surprised. I mean, there's no talk about this, but don't be surprised if on draft day Jerry pulls a plug and trades up into the first round again to get 2 first round picks. If we could do that with Green Bay, who is clearly rebuilding, and give them 2 seconds. I mean, basically, we'll give them our second and fourth for this draft. So they'll have 2 picks in the second round, 2 in the fourth, and then the following draft, they'll have 2 in the first. And Kelvin Joseph, maybe they can do something with him. I'm done with him. We'll have pick 16 and pick 26. And with pick 16, I believe we can get Bijan. And with pick 26, possibly John Smits. If not, then Steve Avila. And then round 3, we'd have to settle for one of the lower graded defensive tackles. I know Siaki Ika won't be there. But I would rather get a left guard than a defensive tackle in that order. Because Terrence Steele is not going to be left guard. That is just idiotic and moronic. So in the third round, I mean, you got guys like, Jerzon Newton out of Illinois, agile disruptor, 91 PFF grade, supposed to be a late day 2 pick. That's third round. Or Keandre Coburn out of Texas, another late day 2 pick. Or you might wind up getting Mozzie Smith or Kalijah Kancey, the Minnesota Viking. He gets comparisons to, God dang, why do we keep forgetting that guy's name? That defensive tackle from Minnesota for many years, that was just amazingly good. John Randall. Yeah. So I think that'd be awesome. Trade up into the first round so we can have 2 picks in the first round, and that would really put us in position to ice this cake and get number 6 on the ring chart. So I would have to ask my wife to kindly take this back to where she got it from and ask them to replicate the 6th one and put it in there. So whenever I finally actually get my official man cave, I'll be updated with a 6-ring box instead of a 5-ring box. So I'm telling you, we were on the cusp last year with a draft and develop team. We were a draft and develop team no more, and we were on the cusp last year. We were a Terrence Steele injury and a Tony Pollard broken leg injury away from beating San Francisco and going to Philly. And if we would have went to Philly, it would have been a ball game, unlike what happened with San Francisco. It would have been a ball game, you best believe that. It wouldn't have been no blowout contest like it was with San Fran when they had their 4th-string quarterback who was on the team for a week, Josh Johnson, come in. And then he gets knocked out and Brock Purdy has to come back in and play injured. Eagles had the easiest playoff path to the Super Bowl I've ever seen. They had the Giants at home, easy walkover. I mean, if we had the Giants in the second round, we'd have walked over them just as bad. And then they had San Fran with Brock Purdy getting hurt early, and that was it. Walk into the Super Bowl like that. Yeah, Stilts, Dak's picks killed us. His 2 picks were at the worst spots of the field possible. If he was going to throw 2, I'd rather them be at midfield or at their 40. His first pick is in our territory. Our defense does their job, goes out there and gives them a 3 and out. Only way they don't get 3 points is if the kicker misses a kick. So Dak basically throwing it to the cornerback that's in front of Michael Gallup, throws it right to him, basically gives San Francisco 3 points. And then when we're tied at 6 before halftime, Pollard runs for 8 yards, breaks his leg. Okay, that happened. 2nd and 2 from the 18. We're 5 wide. Like I said, if you see the replay from the back judge's point of view, he steps back, and there's about a 5-yard gap up the middle that he could take off and run and get inside the 10, and it'd be 1st and goal. But no, he stands in the pocket, and he thinks he's a legend in his own mind. He thinks he's a prolific passer, and he throws in a double coverage at that. I don't care if you're throwing it to Devontae Adams. You don't throw it to double coverage with Jimmy Ward and Fred Warner right there. So that took 7 points off the board because we just scored a touchdown on that drive. You best believe we just scored a touchdown on that drive. So that's 10 points right there he gave San Francisco. So instead of going to halftime up 13-6, we go into halftime down 9-6. It was sickening. It really was. But now, also, if Dak would have had a Brandon Cooks, if we would have got him at the trade deadline, we'd have had a shot. Because all he had really was Lamb. Gallup was not 100%. He was not ready yet. And, they could rush 4 a lot and drop 7. They're very good at that. So, that it was just like the correlation I made. Now, Stilt. I'm not comparing Dak to Peyton at all. What I'm comparing is Peyton's 6th and 7th season to Dak's 6th and 7th season, right? Peyton Manning's 6th and 7th season was 03 and 04, right? They have top-ranked offense in 03 and 04. Just points out the wazoo. In 2003, they rout Denver in the wild card round, like 41-7. In the divisional round, number 1 seed Kansas City, they outdueled them 31-38. And then they go to Peyton's first championship game and only championship game until he reached the Super Bowl in year 9. They go to New England and can only put up 14. They lose 14-24. The following season, their offense gets better. Peyton Manning breaks the passing touchdown at that time of 48. He's through 49. And first round of the playoffs, they rout Denver, blowout, and they go to New England in round 2. And the narrative of the game was, can Peyton be stopped? Question mark. And they lose the game 3-20. I know the rules were different back then. They could just jack the receivers up, knock them off the routes. But it's the similarity is like Patriots were to Peyton Manning is like what San Fran is to Dak right now. Patriots were the best defense in 03 and 04. San Fran's the best defense 21-22. And they've been Dak's Achilles heel. And, they're D'Amico Ryans with his defensive mind, confused Dak pretty good and, did him in. Only scored 17 points and 12 points. And Peyton scored 14 and 3. And they were, Super Bowl favorites those years. Indianapolis was. Yeah, I don't know why Malik Davis didn't get carries after Pollard went down. Elliott wasn't gonna bust, big yards, big gains. I mean, for Zeke, a 10-yard gain is a long run. Malik Davis played well anytime he got the ball. I actually got people on here now. Sugar Daddy Williams says, to Stilts, recorded the whole walkthrough of the St. Louis Rams in '01 and still almost lost. That's funny. Rhonda says, we know who was in Dak's ear. Conveniently moved on to work for more pay for another team. Kellen Moore. And that's why Kellen Moore got his pink slip. Because for some reason, like after week 1, when Dak went down with a broken thumb, Cooper Rush came in. We had to have a run first offense, play good defense, and not make the big mistake, and play conservative. Cooper Rush had to be game manager, and it worked beautifully. I mean, we beat Cincinnati. We beat the 2-0 Giants. We beat Washington. We went to LA, beat the Rams. I guaranteed we'd beat them by 2 scores or more, and we beat them by 2 scores. And then against Philly, Rush really wanted to win that game. Started off uncharacteristically throwing wild balls. Calmed down in the fourth quarter. It was a 3-point game, 17-20. If we get one defensive stop, I think Cooper Rush takes the lead in that game at Philly. And after that, when Dak comes back, for some reason, Kellen Moore just can't help himself. He reverts back to the aerial attack, where he wants Dak to throw it 40 times a game. That is not our recipe for success. Our recipe for success since 2016 is Dak 25 attempts or less, and we run the ball for over 100 yards and play good defense. When we run the ball more than pass the ball, and we run it for over 100 yards, our win-loss record is unbelievable. So we'll see Kellen Moore this season. We play the Chargers as they finish second in the AFC West. We'll play them. I don't know where it'll be at. But if he has an aerial attack going on in San Diego in LA for the Chargers, Herbert's going to get murdered with our pass rush. I'm going to tell you all that right now. Sugar Daddy. Yeah, they definitely cheated on those runs in the early decade. Sugar Daddy, Juan Williams, that must have been devastating seeing the Cowboys losing 2 great Super Bowls. Sugar Daddy Williams, how old are you? You were there to witness them play Pittsburgh twice in the Super Bowl in the 70s? Because my first game was Super Bowl 28 when I was 6 years old. For some reason, I don't know why I fell in love with the Cowboys. My dad was going for Buffalo. I remember he got real excited because the halftime show was Garth Brooks and Company Country Music. And we were down 13-6 at halftime, and I remember I said one of my first prayers that night that we wouldn't lose. I really didn't want to lose. I became a Cowboy fan instantly. And we come out in the second half, James Washington, as Law likes to say, but not that James Washington, the safety, number 37, in the second half had a scoop and score and an interception. He should have been the MVP of that Super Bowl. And then Emmitt Smith just ran the ball and ran the ball and ran down their throats till the game was over. And we came back and won 30-13. And I always make a joke that the Cowboys led me to Christ because I believe that the prayer I said is the only reason why we won. Because I was 6. Funny story. I figure. 53. So you were 6 when you saw your first one as well. Wow, what a coincidence. And 75, you were 6 years old when you saw Cowboys play in the first Super Bowl. Man, yeah, those 2 against Pittsburgh. Well, we got them back in 95. It was funny because I didn't really know my Cowboys history at that time. In Super Bowl 30, during the pregame show when James Brown asked Terry Bradshaw if he was nervous, I had no idea why he asked him that. I was like, why did he ask him if he's nervous? And now I know now because he was quarterback for the Steelers and beat us twice. that one cat missing that ball wide open in the end zone. Forgot his name. Oh man, he probably still has nightmares to this day if he's still alive. 2014. 2014 was our year, still. It was our year, but they took it away. I'm telling you, if we get past Green Bay and they say Dez catches that ball, we beat Seattle. Because we had the team to do it. We did it earlier that year, and we'd have done it again. Our offensive line was it was at the peak. Zach Martin was a rookie. Frederick was in his second year. Alex Smith was in his third year. Man, yeah. So 2014 was, since 95, our best team. I think this year, this team will be better than 2014's team. And 2014, we just happened to have Sean Lee had to get injured in training camp. And DeMarcus Ware had to have gone to Denver that year. If he had Sean Lee and DeMarcus Ware, if Ware would have stayed one more year in 2014 and Sean Lee would have been healthy, that changes things. Or if after DeMarcus Ware won the Super Bowl with Denver in 2015, if he'd have just played one more season in Dallas, which he said he was thinking about doing, coming to play one more season with the team that drafted him, we were the number one seed. Having Tank Lawrence and Randy Gregory. And if he'd have been there, I think he could have made a difference in that Green Bay game. Maybe he got a big strip sack that turned the tide in the fourth quarter. Who knows? But, yeah, the 2017, why did Terrell Owens have to get another broken leg? In 2004, Roy Williams, horse collar tackle, breaks his leg in week 13. He makes it back for the Super Bowl, but he's not 100%. In 2007, week 15 at Carolina, he breaks his leg again. And somehow he comes back and is able to play in our game against the Giants. If Terrell Owens does not break his leg against Carolina and he goes into the playoffs healthy, we beat the Giants. I would bet my firstborn on that. We beat the Giants. A lot of people don't realize that Terrell Owens was on one leg that game. He broke his leg, week 15, 16, 17, the bye week. Boom. A month before. He broke his leg a month before that playoff game. A lot of people forget that. If Terrell Owens did not have that injury, and he was 100%, because he killed the Giants in both games that year, we would have won. In 2004, Owens had a monster Super Bowl game. He had, 140 yards against New England? Yeah, if anybody's a gamer, he's a gamer. But I'm getting a look from the wife. I got to get off now. I am really excited to see so many people jump in on my Second Life show and having people share it. I cannot begin to thank you enough. I have to bring this to a conclusion. Basically, conclusion is this draft could possibly very well lead us into not just being great this year, but building a dynasty type great. Because if you keep drafting great rookies year in and year out, and then fill in the gaps with, free agents and trades, like I said last year and this year, if Jerry Jones' old philosophy and Stephen Jones' philosophy would meet in the middle, they draft and develop, and to go out and be aggressive and bring in guys from the outside, if they would split the difference, that would be a Super Bowl winning formula. I put that video out last offseason, and I put it out a few weeks ago, and they're doing that now. Jerry finally is mentioning his mortality. He's finally realizing he could die. He's getting old. Any day he could have a heart attack. Why sit there and try to save your way to a Super Bowl, which you can't do? And why not go ahead and go get that sixth when you say that you would write a blank check to do it? So I think Jerry's got some tricks up his sleeve, whether Steven likes it or not. But, all right, guys. Keep God first and foremost. He comes before everything, even this. Serious about that. Seek Him and His righteousness, and everything else in your life that you need will follow. I am a living testimony of that. I believe I need to say that at the end of every one of my videos. Shoot, I should start saying in the middle and the beginning too. Please subscribe, like, and share, guys. If you jumped in and you're watching, or you watch this later on, uh, by the way, this is Tuesday night, April 4th. Please subscribe. I would like to get to 1,000 by week 1 this season. I can't do that without y'all's help, DC Nation. And the bigger my channel gets, the better it'll get. I guarantee you. Everybody, thank you for being here. DC for life text, man. You just jumped in, bro. This video is gonna take forever to upload. It'll probably be like ready tomorrow. You can check it out tomorrow. Shit, man, we're on an hour and 15 minutes. Thank you, DC, for life text. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Sugar Daddy William. Thank you, Chris Gons. Thank you, Stilts. Thank you to the people that were here earlier. Where y'all at? I'm going to give shout outs to everybody real quick. Thank you, Jack Kaz. Thank you, Eric. And everybody else who jumped in and just didn't chat, just wanted to listen. Thank you for tuning in. This is only my second live show. Each one will start getting better because we'll start getting bigger audiences. And yeah, help me get to that 1,000, guys. Help me get to that 1,000 by week 1 of this 2023 season. And I get a mic. I'll get graphics. I get studio. I get like sound bites like Law has. You know, and Spartans, what is your profession? You know, stuff like that. All the sound bites he has is movies I love. But y'all have a great week. Have a happy Easter this Sunday. I'll see y'all before then, but have a happy Easter. Have a happy Good Friday. Remember what Good Friday is about. Remember what Easter is about. And this is our year. Cowboys for life, baby. This is our year. I'm telling you, NFC is wide open, and we have the best team on paper. We will have the best team on paper when September comes. God forbid any injury, plague, things happen. So I have to give this a wrap, guys. Thank y'all for joining me. It means the world to me. You have no idea. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good night, and I will catch y'all soon.
How about them Cowboys?
Ah, nice. My wife and my kids. I flipped my wife. When I got with her, she was a Texan fan, and I was like, "Are you nuts? This ain't gonna last." And then she finally realized that the Texans were garbage. We live in Houston. And yep, I flipped her. And she is a total blue and silver bleeding Cowboy fan. I'm so proud of her. So proud of her. And my kids who know the names of the players. They're only 5 and 7. All right, guys. Yes, Chris Gons. I think we have the best team too. And it's just going to get better through the draft and after the draft. So this is it from this episode. Second live show, guys. It went better than I thought, so I'm very happy about that. Thank y'all, and I will catch you on the flip side. Y'all have a good night and a great day tomorrow with great results. God bless every single one of y'all. Charles on Charge is out.